More than half of voters now want Britain to forge closer ties with the EU, poll reveals.
Here's a summary of the article.
Even in those constituencies that recorded the highest votes to leave the EU in 2016, more than twice as many voters now believe the best route forward is to move in the opposite direction, and forge closer ties with Brussels. The poll by Focal Data found that 3 times as many adults now believe Brexit has created more problems than it has solved, compared with just 21% who believe it has solved more than it has created. Overall, 53% of voters now want the government to seek a closer relationship with the EU than it now has, having left the single market and customs union, against just 14% who want the UK to become more distant. In Boston and Skegness in Lincolnshire, where the vote to leave the EU was 74.9% in 2016, more than twice as many people now want closer links with the EU against just 19% who want relations to become even more distant. When asked to consider the UK's visa policies, more than half of all voters polled for Best for Britain said the UK should issue more visas to allow foreign workers to come to the UK. Some 19% wanted to see more visas generally and 32% said they wanted to see more visas issued, but only in sectors with labour shortages. Pro-European Labour politicians will also use the polling evidence to urge Labour leader Keir Starmer to be bolder and advance more concrete plans for closer EU ties, now that opinion seems to be swinging in favour of doing so. Naomi Smith, chief executive of Best for Britain, said, "In just a few short years, public opinion in Britain has moved on from being pro-Brexit, to believing Johnson's deal has done more harm than good, to now supporting a closer relationship with the EU. Our first-of-its-kind poll, an MRP analysis using new constituency boundaries, shows that with deepening ties being the most popular option in every constituency in Britain, there are votes to be won for any political party prepared to make this case to the electorate."
This post received a score of 21,000, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
7 years ago 50% of people voted to leave. 75% of less than 24s wanted to stay. 66% of less than 40s wanted to stay. Old people who are now dying wanted to leave.
And now a lot of them have left this world. Would love to see the results from another vote now. Maybe we wouldn't all be confined to that one small island during a time where remote work is such a common practice and the opportunity to move and explore would be an option again.
The generational gaps we're facing have destroyed any fear I may have of dying at old age. Premature death still scares me, though.
If experience has told me anything, it's that prematurely is the way I'll be going.
At least it's not the way you're coming.
Narrator: Sadly, it was.
This isn't anything new. Barely half of the country voted to leave. Given how they phrased the question, I imagine that hasn't changed by much, or they would have phrased the question more directly by mentioning membership rather than just closer ties.
When is the world going to learn that conservative parties only hurt them?
Nostalgia is a powerful drug.
Not sure it's nostalgia. It's the old people who cling to power with their decrepit fingertips fucking over the younger generation as they become eligible to vote.
It's non-existent media competency. Simple as that. A lot of people are way too stupid or not competent enough to use the internet, so they believe everything they read on Telegram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, or what some random YouTuber say. It's like decades ago where everything was true because it's on the TV. It's not a generational problem. There are older people who know this, and there are young people who easily get manipulated through online media.
It isn't just a generational issue, but there is a generational aspect. Most people under 45 voted to stay. Most people 45 plus voted to leave.
But this doesn't change my point. Older people tend to have less media competency than younger people when it comes to online media.
They had the perfect scapegoat for everything that was wrong in the UK. It's the EU, stifling us. They threw that get out of jail card, and now the same politicians have to admit a lot of the failings attributed to the bureaucratic EU are in fact the failings of the UK and the mismanagement of their own politicians. Why would a politician want to renounce to something that covered his own ass is beyond dumbfounding. I suppose after so many years of falsely claiming that the UK would be the best country in the world, period, if it wasn't for the EU, they themselves started to believe their own tall tales?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.